and welcome. You're watching the special broadcast of DD Dialogue. I'm Sakal Bhatt. New York Times recently has posted an ad to hire journalists for South Asia business segment. But the prerequisites for this particular position offered by New York Times, supposedly one of the top internationally acclaimed media houses, has created massive outrage and in fact, many would question its credibility, the brand journalism of New York Times and its credibility. Why? Because this ad is clearly talking about that it is looking to hire journalists with a very clear ideological bent, those who would openly bring in a very strong element of anti-Hindu bias. Anti-Hindu bias and anti-India bias in its reportage, in its so-called coverage. In this episode of DD Dialogue, we have specific questions for not only New York Times, but certain sections of Western media who have been not only obsessed with India's growth story, but also coming up time and again with anti-India propaganda under the garb of journalism and massively misleading international headlines about India specifically. We question these misleading headlines and their brand of so-called journalism. We ask, are these media houses actually wanting to hire journalists or political activists with certain kind of bents? We also ask, is anti-India bias a prerequisite for the media houses like New York Times? And on the show this evening, we have with us. So is New York Times actually following their brand of journalism under the garb of journalism, but basically it's a propaganda, anti-India propaganda? On DD India, on the special broadcast, we're extremely honored to have high-powered panel. Joining us all the way from Bangalore, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Member Parliament and Cellular Pioneer, joining us. Namaskar, Rajivji. Thank you so much for joining us. Very, very glad to have Dr. Vijay Chauthaiwale, in charge Foreign Affairs, BJP, joining us on the show from National Capital, and very, very veteran, eminent journalist and also senior advisor to the Information and Broadcasting Ministry, Government of India, Kanchan Gupta, also joining us on the show. I'm going to quickly start this with Rajiv Ji. Rajiv Ji, very quickly, I'm not going to revisit what all has happened in the past when it comes to specifically New York Times so-called reportage on matters which are very, very critical in nature to our internal security, whether it was Pulwama and now this latest so-called advertisement. It can't get blatant than this, but the question I'm going to ask you, Mr. Chandrasekhar, till how long we're going to take this? What would be our response to this now?
No, so I think, Sakal, there are two issues that arise out of this this exposure, if you want to call it that, which is, one is that it is clear that New York Times, which is obviously a wanted brand, it's a very reputed old, journalistic brand from a Western world, where we've had certain suspicions and concerns about their reportage for last several months.
Absolutely.
Suspicion of bias and suspicion of prejudice. Now, when they are so brazen and they come out with an ad like this that pretty much puts out there what their sense of predetermined narrative about India is and what their expectations of a journalist is, I think that facade of unbiased journalism or the facade of impartial journalism has been torn down. I think the most important thing is that even if there was any Indian who believed that New York Times was in any way impartial journalism or it was unbiased journalism, this advertisement basically exposes that and puts to rest that discussion and that debate. For a long time, a lot of us have argued that there is more to what New York Times and Western brands have been doing. There is a certain pattern to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, in terms of what we should do, I think we should do what we continue to do as a government.
Which is?
We stress on putting the truth out there. We stress on combating every lie with the facts and the truth. There is no shortcut to defeating falsehoods and fake news. There is no instant way of dealing with fake news except to deal with it the way we have been dealing with it, and maybe we need to deal with it in a more broad-based manner, in a more determined manner, which is to deal with every fake news, with every biased reporting, every prejudiced reporting, with the facts, with the truth, and make sure that the truth and the facts are out there.
Okay.
So at a very broad level, for example, if New York Times wants to paint this picture of India being this muscular Hindu self-sufficient
Yes.
nation.
Yes.
The facts are to the contrary, that the Prime Minister of this country, under him, the Muslims have never felt safer, as the Pew Research today has put out in the last
Hmm.
few.
Hmm.
So I think that is the only way to respond to this, which is to go put the facts out there and combat fake news with the truth.
Hmm. Kanchan, sir, the point is that you've questioned the very, existence of New York Times. And you've said that this qualifies to be called as a foreign-funded NGO. And yes, why not? Why not? I mean, look at the ad and the way they've gone about it. And this has, by the way, created massive outrage in social media and otherwise also here in India. Kanchan Gupta ji.
See, any newspaper or any, for that matter, any enterprise has the freedom to decide or set the criteria for any employment that it may generate. So there can be no dispute over the New York Times deciding for itself whom it wants to hire.
Okay.
The
Point.
problem arises when the criteria that are set reflect not only bias, but I would even go to the extent of suggesting a very well thought out sort of a plan to create a post which will be used specifically for creating or generating stories that are not inimical, the stories that are not helpful for India, or stories that are inimical for India. Now, people have just focused on the one of the criteria they have listed, and that is the, by implication, the applicant should be ideologically opposed to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his government, and as well as the quote unquote Hindu nationalist ideology of the ruling party. That is only one of the offensive criteria that have been set. The second is that the person will be also working out of India's neighboring countries, namely Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and over there it is very surprisingly it is mentioned that these countries have a very complicated relationship with India. So therefore the hint is that this person's job would be to sort of keep on exploiting the fault lines or the perceived fault lines, and create further disharmony between India's neighborhood and India. And lastly, the third criteria is, and I think, I mean, I have looked at several job advertisements while I was an active journalist.
Yes,
I
sir.
think it's the first time I am seeing a job advertisement which says that criminal
Yes. Yes.
charges or criminal background is not a barrier. So what
Yes.
exactly are they trying to do? Whom are they
Yes.
trying to hire, and for what purpose? And therefore I said that this kind of criteria, they sort of suit an NGO, activist NGO, and a foreign funded and activist NGO.
Dr. Vijay, please come in here. Is this going to not now determine how we deal or how we choose to deal with certain sections of Western media? Because you would agree, as Rajiv ji also mentioned, this is not an isolated incident. And by the way, this is not just about New York Times. New York Times is just one of such examples. If you remember, this selective so-called reportage of certain sections of Western media and their pathological hatred towards Modi government.
I agree with you. See, 2-3 things that are happening, and we can see a pattern and a very concerted efforts in the similar direction. And it has 4 salient features. One is you need to be anti-India. You also need to be anti-Modi. You need to be Hindu-phobic, And also you need to adhere to a cancel culture, which means that any alternate views, they simply will not allow to come to the forefront. And New York Times ad is a very classical example of how they are choosing people to set these four paradigms of this entire narrative. And it has been happening in for last 2-3 years, especially after 2019 victory of Prime Minister Modi.
Yes.
And this is a continuous pattern you will also see in future. And we need to see it as a larger malaise against India, Indian government, against Hindus and patriotic Hindus and patriotic citizens of India, and somehow to suppress the voices of alternative narratives. And this is only a symptom, and the disease is quite widespread.
How should be the response like? Let's elaborate a bit more. Rajiv ji, you would remember New York Times misspelled Prime Minister, our Honorable Prime Minister's name. Then in 2019, Pulwama terror attack, they had the audacity to call it an explosion. Then they continue to give bizarre, outrageous headlines as far as our budget is concerned or our Mars mission is concerned. And then they go ahead and come up with a racist tweet, cartoon, then they go ahead and delete it. And we are talking about the so-called top brand of international journalism, New York Times.
Right. So I want to take up a little bit from where Vijay left off. And I think we need to understand one thing, Sakal.
Yeah.
India as a country since 2014 is on the rise. The world recognizes it. We are going to be shortly a $5 trillion economy. We are the 5th largest economy in the world. And we are challenging the status quo for many nations in terms of trade, in terms of technology. Now with Atmanirbhar Bharat, we want to aspire to disrupt the traditional supply chains of the world. So there are many forces that are going to be naturally concerned about India's rise. Let us clearly accept that. Let us clearly recognize that. Now, whether these forces use surrogates like new media brands or social media platforms to create an alternate narrative to the narrative that we are all trying to build, which is an India which is on the rise, that is something we can explore separately. It's a fact. We know that there are forces out there that are deliberately out to trip up India, create roadblocks in India's progress. My own personal view, and I don't speak for the government, nor do I speak necessarily after any great consensus, is that the only alternative to this narrative that is being put out there repeatedly against India, whether it ranges from fascism or Hinduism or self-sufficiency without understanding what the word is for us to go build this powerful narrative of an exciting India that is on the move, that is on the rise, that is democratic, that values fundamental rights for its citizens. Go out there and let the world understand through this narrative of ours, through putting the facts and truth out in a manner that is as strong, as wide, as deep and as broad as any of these brands have. We have to do it. We have to figure out a way to do it. Because I know your next question is going to be, how do we do it?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
For that, Kanchan is a professional. Vijay has a lot more experience internationally, and these are the minds that should sit down and figure out how we should do it. But I know what we should do. We have to stop being defensive. We have to stop believing that good work alone is enough. We have to put out there for the world to see. And there are many people, by the way, there is a huge silent majority of people in this world that want India to succeed. There is a huge number of countries that want India to be the success. The largest democracy of the world should lead the way for the economy and trade and technology post-COVID is a given. There are a lot of forces that are supporting us. But yes, there are forces against us. There is a narrative against us. And we have to put out there what the truth is and what the facts are. How to do it, there are,
Yes,
like
yes.
Vijay should speak.
Vijay ji, how do we do this? Now is the time.
I agree with Rajiv ji that this is the time to create alternative narrative, alternate platforms on all digital and social media, and say it very loud and clear that while we welcome the dissenting opinion and we are not as intolerant as the liberal gang is, we will not tolerate any fake news and any fake narrative. And that is going to be the fight on all the platforms, may it be digital, social, print, and the new age platforms, that we will have to be prepared about it. And that's the only way to do it in a democratic manner.
Kanchan Gupta, would you want to add to that? Now, what should be the befitting response, Kanchan Gupta? You're a veteran journalist, one of the veteran journalists the country has had. Have you, in your memory, ever seen such, one-sided, biased, so-called reportage, if I'm allowed to use the word reportage for something like New York Times, against any specific country here in India?
Sakal, I don't think this is something which has suddenly happened.
Yes.
Apropos the New York Times. The last cartoon they carried on India's space mission,
yes,
and they had to take it down. But that was not the first cartoon lampooning India's success story.
True.
And the New York Times is not alone. Let's not forget, BBC does it all the time.
Yes.
They showed military formations, tanks in Chechnya, and said that it was footage from Kashmir.
Yes.
The Independent ran a story famously saying that the Indian army soldiers are disguising themselves as ghosts.
And even Al Jazeera, Kanchana, choosing to call Kashmir, the portion of Kashmir, India-occupied Kashmir.
So it's the story is actually way more than just New York Times.
Yes.
Now, I agree with Rajiv that we have to have our own narrative. When I say we, I mean India has to have its own narrative. It has to be a stronger narrative, and it has to be a compelling narrative. But the problem arises that the global media landscape is largely influenced by what comes out of New York or Washington or London. If there is a pattern to it, if there is this is not something accidental.
And there is a pattern to it.
There is a pattern to it. And mind you, the correspondent they're looking for is a business correspondent.
Yes.
So is it would be very natural for me to raise the question, is the idea to now run a campaign just as the Indian economy is emerging from the smashing it took during the pandemic year? The idea is to now somehow get into place people who will cause damage on the global front against the Indian economy. Is the idea to influence investors?
Yes.
Is the idea to influence ratings agencies? Is the idea to influence global faith in the Indian economy? So these questions are natural, and unless these questions are answered and tackled, we will be saddled with
it's a part. Yes, it's a tip of an iceberg. Rajesh wants to come in here, and just a tip of a larger ploy, because they have the audacity to say in the job opening, India's future now stands at a crossroads. And what is muscular nationalism? What is this comparison about India and China, Rajiv ji?
No, so I want to make 2 points here, and I just want to pick up from where Kanchan's talked about op-eds opining on a platform versus reporting on a platform. And if you look at the New York Times, the website, they have a section, and it's been there for many, many years, called ethical journalism. And the 8th word of the second line talks about a word called impartial.
Impartial.
Okay, so I mean, that is what I have grown up to understand what news reporting is. Especially if you claim to be unbiased and impartial, then there is a certain expectation from you. Now, that I just wanted to make that point before I move to another issue, which is, I said, Sakal, in my point, in the second question you asked me, and I said that India is on the rise. India is going to be a large global economy, $5 trillion. Very few countries are going to have that size and scale and momentum as India is going to have. And there is clearly a move afoot, and I say this with all responsibility, by certain sections to make foreign investors wary of investing in India. Please understand, foreign investments are an important part of any growing economy. I see in the New York Times approach to hiring this kind of a business journalist an attempt to try and put pressure on international investors by using words like muscular nationalism. Are you supporting investments in a country that is muscular
Yes,
nationalist,
yes.
Hindu, X, Y, and Z, and try and shame large investors and make them go away from India. Now, I don't have facts for it, I don't have evidence for it, but I can see a pattern that having failed in many other ways, now the target is the economy.
That is the story, as you rightly pointed out, Dr. Vijay. That is the story, and again, when that is the story, India is on the rise. India will continue to rise, and very strong need to have a very aggressive this anti-India propaganda narrative that we need to build on.
There cannot be two opinions about what Rajiv has said, that these media platforms are going from one stage to other. They first tried to vilify Prime Minister Modi since several years. When they didn't succeed there, then they tried to defame India as a country, Hindus as a tradition and civilization by putting a lot of fake narrative against several traditions of Hinduism, which Kanchanda has very elaborately explained. And now the third target would be where it hit most, and that is economy, where all other things have failed. Now they thought that economy can be a soft target, where if any damage, if it can be done, it will hurt the livelihood of common men. And that is going to be the next target, not only of the New York Times, but several multi-billion-dollar funded NGOs and also organizations.
Okay, we are a democratically elected government that has, whether it is this government in the helm or that government at the helm, that doesn't change the fact we are one of the most vibrant democracies of the world. I'm going to quickly give 2 minutes each to all of you to wrap this up. Your final comments, your message, not only to New York Times. I would like to start with Kanchanda. New York Times is hiring or perhaps aiming to hire a journalist, but that is not the fact. You're hiring a political activist under the garb of journalism with a very vicious vested interest, and your message to such sections of Western media. Kanchan Gupta.
Any platform is free to hire whomsoever it wishes to hire. But while that is the freedom of choice for the platforms, news platforms, the government, it is the government's responsibility to ensure that mischievous activity in the garb of journalism and again, quote unquote, journalism which claims to be impartial, then certain concerns are bound to rise, and it is then for the government to decide how to deal with those concerns. And this is not something unique for India. Ironically, even America has had a good bitter taste of this kind of journalism. Europe is facing it. There is a twin challenge posed by big tech. So we should look at the big picture.
Okay.
And while looking at the big picture, we have to work on the policy front. We have to work on the legal front. And more importantly, we have to hard sell our own story through our own platforms, Indian platforms, and there are any number of them, and try and get that story out into the larger world.
Yeah. So, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, it's like the battle of relevance that they are fighting versus India's rising India story, India's shining India story.
No, exactly. So, Sakal, I would not spend too much time obsessing over New York Times. I think the fact is they have clearly exposed themselves to the whole world, and most importantly to Indians, that they are not about impartial journalism. They are not unbiased, and they have a particular mindset that is the DNA of that brand. And
Yes.
as long as they are very clear about it, I think we should have no problem. They are free to do what they want, but we should never believe, as we had believed earlier, that they are anything about journalism or that they are anything about impartial reportage. So having said that, I want to just add to what Kanchan said. We have a mission as a nation, Sakal. We have a mission as a government that we owe it to our people to grow our economy. $5 trillion is not an academic number. It is not some academic race. It is the way to eradicate poverty, to bring prosperity to every Indian. That is why we need to grow. That is why we need to become a global superpower, economic superpower. It is not because we are in some contest of getting gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal. We have to do this for our own people. And because of that determination that we have for our own people, there are forces that are going to trip us up. That the forces may be border disputes with certain countries, it may be terrorism, it may be media warfare, it may be social media platform capture. All of these things are in the scheme of things in terms of forces that try to trip us up in terms of our mission. We should in turn be very determined that we are going to get to where we have to get, and we will do whatever we have to do. If we have to be strong at our borders, we will be strong at our borders. If we have to do counter narratives to deal with fake news, we will do counter narratives. The repertoire and the basket of things that we have to do, we have to do. How to do it and who will do it, etc., the government will decide. But a determination we should have that New York Times, sitting in New York, thousands of miles away, is not going to trip up a democracy of 1.3 billion people who are determined to change our fate and our future.
We will do what we have to do. You may think whatever you want to think. You know, just to sum it up like that. Dr. Vijay, yes.
I fully concur with both Kanchanta and Rajuji. This is New York Times, as I said, is simply a symptom. We will have to have a very bigger fight and very wider fight on every front. But if someone thinks, any foreign press thinks that it will somehow diminish us, it will dent our reputation, it will dent our resolve to make India a very prosperous, equitable, and as we have always said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and Antyodaya, based on Antyodaya, the progress of the country, they are living in the fool's paradise.
So I think it's the likes of New York Times, that they are overtly obsessed with India's rising India, shining India story. And, you know, this whole anti-India narrative and desperate attempt by these certain sections of Western media like New York Times, BBC, Al Jazeera. As one of our panelists rightly put, this is about their fight for relevance and not about us, actually. Thank you so very much, gentlemen, for joining us on this very special broadcast of DD Dialogue. All of you, thank you so much for joining us on DD Dialogue.
Namaste.